Good morning, friends.
Good morning, sir.
Myself, Dr. Amit Gohel, welcome you on the 21 Marathon Materia Medica series. We are heading toward the end of this series, and today we are learning something different which we have not learned in our college life as well as in a practical aspect also, because we neglect certain drugs in our practical life also. So today we are learning something practical out of it which we have neglected as Indian drugs. So today's speaker, Dr. Raj Bhimani. I welcome Dr. Raj on the stage. So today we are learning different drug group which we call as Indian drugs. So in Ayurveda we have heard about certain Indian drugs which beautifully they use. So same way that Indian drugs are introduced by Dr. Ghosh, and he had proved many drugs, Indian drugs. So today we are having this clinical utility of these Indian drugs, and Dr. Raj is going to present us with this. So I welcome Dr. Raj. I request Dr. Virat to give him a floral welcome. Dr. Raj, we wish you good luck and all the best for the good understanding of clinical utility of Indian drugs. All the best.
Hello friends, good morning.
Good morning.
So today we will learn something different apart from regular or routine materia medica. We will learn today the clinical utilities of Indian remedies. In Indian remedies, why they are called Indian remedies? Because the herbs or the plants which are grown in India is known as Indian remedies, not which we use in daily routine life is Indian remedies. Like Ashoka we use in regular, but it is not Indian remedies. Indian remedies means the plant should be grown in Indian continent or Indian region. Then it is termed as Indian remedies. Okay, so we will move forward. So first of all, we will try to pay the tribute to our master Samuel Hahnemann. Because of him, we all are here, and we have the great science called homeopathy. Next, I would like to pay the tribute to the lion of homeopathy, Dr. Praful Vijayakar sir. Sir always says one thing: if you don't find an answer for a problem for ages, be sure the search is in the wrong direction and the solution is exactly on the opposite direction. Okay? Means you are trying and not getting the success or the cure. Be sure that the direction is wrong. Just see what is opposite and you will get the remedy or the result. Okay? Next, I would like to pay the gratitude to my mentor and guru, Dr. Amit Gohel. Thank you so much, sir. And as a disciple, I just want to say one thing: countless lives offered in the service of the Guru cannot express the gratitude to the disciple. Next, my question to all of you: today we will have the interaction session. So, what is required for the physician to give the cure to the sick? Can anyone answer? What is required?
Knowledge of
Yes.
aphorism number 3.
Exactly. Aphorism number 3. If the physician clearly perceives what is to be cured in disease, who is the sick, and the main important things, what is curative in medicine. We always forgot this. We just see what is to be cured and who is to be cured, but we cannot match, or we every time fail to match the what is curative in medicine. The medicine has this curative power or sphere of action on that organs. Then and then only you will get the result. So now how the cure is done, this is given in aphorism number 3. Just we will take a look. If the physician clearly perceives what is to be cured in disease, that is to say, in every individual case of disease, that is knowledge of disease. If he clearly perceives what is curative in medicine, that is to say, in individual medicine, that is knowledge of medicinal powers. And if he knows how to adapt according to clearly defined principles, what is curative in medicine to what he has discovered to be undoubtedly morbid in the patient. So what you have to match? You have to match what is curative in medicine And what we have find in the morbid means diseased person or the sick person. We have to just match two things so that the recovery must ensure. As well in respect to the suitability to the medicine most appropriate according to its mode of action to the case before him, choice of remedy or the remedy indicated, as also in respect to the exact mode of preparation and quantity. This is the law of homeopathy. We have to know what is the mode of preparation, what is the dose and potency. If you do this wonderfully, then you will get the result. If finally he knows the obstacle to recovery, that is the miasm, you should know the obstacle, you should know the miasm of the disease. And if you know the miasm and you consider the miasm, then you will get the cure. Then he must understand how to treat judicially and rationally, and he is a true practitioner of the healing art. So this is therefore number 3. Okay. Next, Indian drugs are the least used in the homeopathic practice. So today they have very good medicinal properties that we always forgot and we cannot know by reading. We have to visualize or read more and more, then we will come to know. Today we will learn some important Indian drugs. So let's do some exercise. Okay. Can you appreciate these remedies? Despair, unwilling to die in hemoptysis. Indolence, aversion to work, breakfast after. Hemorrhage in the morning from rectum. Rectum hemorrhoids painful in morning. Female hemorrhage bright red, uterus profuse from least motion. Female hemorrhage dark black from uterus. Female tumor fibroma myoma uterus. Cough which is dry violent expectoration before bloody, means before bloody expectoration there is dry violent cough followed by bloody expectoration. Expectoration bloody in the morning, spitting of blood, and in the evening there is clotted or coagulated blood. Then expectoration blood is spitting of the blood, fine blood in the morning and dark clotted blood in the evening. Then chest hemorrhage tuberculosis, and chest tuberculosis acute lungs. What can be the medicine?
We have to think about the remedy which is hemorrhagic.
Yes, we want a hemorrhagic medicine. Next,
which act on the respiratory as well
yes.
as rectum
Yes,
or the female
exactly.
genitalia.
So we want a medicine which is highly bleeder or the hemorrhagic tendency. Next, we want a medicine which has sphere of action on chest. This is the respiratory organs.
Tuberculosis.
These all are respiratory organs. Followed by we have to female genitalia, and next we have the rectum or the GIT of action. Okay. So this is the medicine Echinacea indica. We have never thought this medicine here. We always think of the hemorrhagic medicine like melilotus, phosphorus, lachesis, ophidius, but we never think of this. This is Echinacea indica. So Echinacea indica means Indian nettle. It is a weed which is found in India, belong to Euphorbia family, and the common feeling of Euphorbia family is burning. Severe burning is present. Okay. Tincture is prepared from the fresh plant. What is the constitution? Constitution is tubercular, and the diathesis, as we also, is the hemorrhagic diathesis. The clinical indications where you can think of this medicine. It is in cough, diarrhea, flatulence, hemoptysis, emaciation, hemorrhages, lung cancer and tuberculosis. In lung cancer and tuberculosis, this medicine has very good act on it, and you can get number of cures in these two pathologies by this medicine. Okay. Next, Echinacea is a remedy having a marked action on the alimentary canal and respiratory organs. GIT and respiratory are mainly affected. And what is the affection? Means what it produces. The tincture of the Echinacea is specific in hemorrhage from the lungs. This is hemoptysis. Echinacea is indicated incipient tuberculosis. Incipient means primary stage. When the tuberculosis is just started. How can we know this is primary stage? The first symptom is blood in sputum. This is hemoptysis. So if hemoptysis comes and you found out to be TB in a primary stage, you can use this drug. With hard racking cough, bloody expectoration, arterial hemorrhage, means the blood will be bright red in color, but no febrile disturbances. All hemorrhages having notably a morning aggravation. This is the particular modality of this medicine, that is morning aggravation. Very weak in the morning, gains strength during day. Means there is cough which is weak in the morning, But as the day passes, the cough gets violent, and it reaches to the peak in the evening. Progressive emaciation, because as we all know, the TB, the common symptom of tuberculosis, there may be the weight loss. So progressive emaciation, sense of weight in the stomach with sense of burning, because it is of Euphorbia family. Burning, flatulence and sputtering diarrhea, means gushing diarrhea. Okay. What produces GI affection? Burning in the intestine, spluttering diarrhea with forceful expulsion of noisy flatus, bearing down pains and tenesmus, rumbling distension and gripping pain in abdomen, rectal hemorrhage worse in morning, similar to murk core. There is also tenesmus present, blood in the stool is present, because it is also syphilitic remedy. So you can consider this or match with murk core. Rectal hemorrhage, which is worse in morning. The respiratory, dry hard cough followed by hemoptysis, which is worse in morning because it's general modality, morning aggravation, and at night. Blood is bright red and not profuse in the morning, dark and clotted in the afternoon. Violent dry cough followed by bloody expectorations. Expectoration of pure blood in the morning and dark clotted blood in the evening. This is peculiar of this medicine. If you find this, then you can definitely give this medicine. Bright red blood in the morning in hemoptysis and the clotted blood in the evening. Next is the lung cancer, violent cough followed by bloody expectoration of pure blood, which is also same, bright in the morning and dark and clotted in the evening. And there is also dullness of chest on percussion. This is clinical. Why dullness? In lung cancer, what happens? Consolidation. As a compensatory mechanism, there is fibrosis formation. When there is a hard substance, if you percuss, the sound will be dullness. Okay? So there is dullness of chest on percussion. Next, the clinical experience of stalwarts. All have used this medicine. How it is important? There is an example. In a case of passive hemorrhage from the lungs, after arnica was used with little benefit, Calotropis benefited and then failed. After which the use of arnica entirely stopped the hemorrhagic flow. Means the stalwart had used in the case of passive hemorrhage from the blood. What he has used? Arnica, because we all know any hemorrhage is extravasation or the passive hemorrhage, we think of arnica. He has given arnica, but arnica has only given little benefit. Then he again used Calotropis indica, and then he gained more result. And after that, this medicine again stops, and he again used arnica, and the case was cured. Okay. So
used as an intercurrent.
Yes, he used as an intercurrent medicine in extravasation. And there is one physical. This pulse is small and depressed, and the pulse between 100 to 120 with hemoptysis. Hemoptysis is present, pulse is slow. Means if you feel the pulse, there is no fullness or bounding pulse. It will be slow, but the count will be high. This is about 100 to 120. Okay. So this is the clinical indication. You can use it in your clinic. Next, what can be the possible rubrics? Despair, unwilling to die in hemoptysis. He is in despair due to hemoptysis, but still he wants to live. He is unwilling to die. Single medicine, Calotropis indica. Second, rectum hemorrhage from anus in the morning. Next, stool sputtering. Very few medicines, only 28, and Calotropis is there. We never think of this medicine. Female, we all know that female. What is it? Causes leukoria, which is thick, leukoria, which is thin and watery. There may be metrorrhagia. It is a hemorrhagic remedy, so metrorrhagia, intercurrent bleeding. What will the bleeding? Bright red gushing from the least motion. Least motion causes gushing blood. And what will be the blood? Bright red in color. Okay. Then we metrorrhagia of bright red and profuse, and metrorrhagia is gushing, profuse. Okay. Complete dynamics. There is speech and voice lost with hemoptysis. Due to hemoptysis, or the concomitant may be voice lost. Next is cough, violent, dry, and before bloody expectoration. Just remember this: before bloody expectoration, there is dry, violent cough. पेशेंट से बहुत खांसी आते, बहुत जोर जोर से सूखी खांसी आते, उसके बाद मुंह में से खून निकलता है, and it is the indication. Expectoration, which is bloody, spitting of blood, where the morning fine blood and in the evening there is clotted and dark blood. The expectoration of blood is spitting of blood, mainly in tuberculosis. Okay? Only 18 medicines. Chest cancer lungs with hemoptysis. Next is chest hemorrhage tubercular, chest tuberculosis pulmonaris incipient. Incipient means in primary stage. And general's hemorrhage tendency to actual, because it is hemorrhagic medicine, so it is tendency. I am showing this so you can read more and more time, and when you read more and more you will remember it. Okay? So next, in female sexual hemorrhage with blood clotted or partly clots. As you all know, we asked about the menses, and menses patient says it is blood, but sometimes clotted, sometimes fluid. So we can think of this. Circulatory pulse. How is the pulse? It is soft and compressible. This is from the Boric repertory. Boric has given many less remedies, which is repeatedly verified. He only mentions 10 remedies in his repertory. In the Boric, there is respiration, lungs, hemorrhage is bright red. Respiration chapter, lungs, hemorrhage tubercular, hemorrhage with cough, tuberculosis with debility, means weakness, prostration. Tuberculosis, hemoptysis. Nervous system, adynamia worse in AM. Adynamia means weakness. Weakness of nervous system, mostly in the morning. AM means morning. Then you can think of echinacea indica. Disease emaciations, body progressive. Progressive emaciation is there, mainly the tuberculosis. Fever is slow onset, symptom of tuberculosis. Pulse is fast. Pulse, hemoptysis 100 to 120, only single medicine. Pulse is fast, but how is the pulse? Soft and compressible. The count is more, but the flow is low. The clinical consumption, bleeding. Now we will learn some more remedies. Can you appreciate this remedy? Hysteria puberty, satisfied easily, sympathetic to suffering of others, weeping, tearful mood while telling one's illness, pain, headache, neuralgic, temples extending to face, pain, delivery after purpura, means pain after delivery, constipation, uterine complaints in hemorrhoids, constipation, hemorrhoids, bleeding bright, hemorrhage, uterus, metrorrhagia from cysts and fibroids. Due to fibroids and cysts, there is heavy or profuse bleeding. Then you can think of this rubric, large rubric. Female sterility, female tumors, fibroma, myoma, back pain extending to thighs, back pain, lumbar region, lumbago extending to upwards, and skin pale, fever during. Can you appreciate this remedies? What can be the remedy?
Kalika, pulsatilla.
Yes. We mostly think of female remedies like pulsatilla. Why? Weeping, tearful mood while telling her complaints.
Puberty ailments.
Puberty ailments. Then we can think of sepia, because there is cyst, sterility, fibroid, myoma. Kalika, why? Hemorrhoids, constipation, backache, then pain delivery after. But this medicine is none other than Genosia Ashoka. Okay. See, similar medicine going to sepia, pulsatilla, kalika, blackesses, all are covering. But this single medicine has these all rubrics. Okay. So, Genosia Ashoka, Saraka Ashoka. Can you tell what is Ashoka? Let's tell. We know that is Asopalo, but it is not. There is false Ashoka tree. This is Asopalo. This is false Ashoka tree. Seems like Asopalo, as we all know. Okay. What is this? One common garden tree, which is named as Polyethia longifolia, is referred as Ashoka tree in India, but it is not actual Ashoka tree. Probably due to the slight resemblance of foliage, with the camouflaging, psychosis. To avoid confusion with true Ashok or Sita Ashok, means जो जनोशिया अशोका है उसको सीता अशोक भी बोलते हैं, उसके जैसा लगता है लेकिन है नहीं, इसलिए उसको फॉल्स अशोका बोलते हैं. These two trees are easily distinguishable. How? We will see some mythological relation. This Janoshya Ashoka is also known as Hem Pushpa or Stree Priya. In the epic Ramayana, Ashok Vatika is the place where was kept captive by the demon king Ravan after her abduction from Dandakaranya forest. अपहरण करके उसको अशोक वन में रखा था. goddess Sita refused to stay at the king's palace, seeking instead to stay in the Ashok Vatika under the Ashoka tree, that is तारा का अशोका. उसको बोला था कि तुम्हें वन महल में रहना है, तो उसने मना किया और इसके नीचे रही, अशोका वन के नीचे, अशोक वाटिका में. क्यों? क्यों? सोचो.
लेक्चर में से थोड़ी और इन्फॉर्म करो.
वनवास आता नहीं.
अच्छा, और क्या हो सकता है?
सर लेक्चर में बाद में
वही क्यों? Because Sita was able to withstand her शोक. शोक means दुख, sorrow, because she was living under the tree अशोक. उसका जो दुख है वो अशोक ट्री कम करेगा, ठीक है, विदाउट सोरो ट्री, इसलिए उसको अशोक बोलते हैं, शोक को हरने वाला अशोक. सो दिस ट्री इज आल्सो नोन एज सीता अशोक. बट व्हाई ओनली अशोक ट्री? इन अशोक ट्री क्यों? रावण था, उसके पास तो बहुत सारे वाटिका होंगे, अशोक का ही थोड़ी होगा, सब कुछ होगा. यही ट्री क्यों? और क्यों नहीं? व्हाई नॉट एनी अदर ट्री? In Ayurveda, formulation of the bark of the Ashoka tree have been recommended for the several gynecological disorders. As a female, he may suffer from some diseases or we can tell the कोई भी तकलीफ उसको हो, तो उसके लिए उसके पास solution होना चाहिए. So what is the solution? Tree is the solution. The bark is said to work as uterine tonic, helping with severe cramps, heavy bleeding, bloating, tiredness and burning sensation during the menses. It also helps manage pelvic inflammatory disease, including the inflammation in uterus and ovaries, because it is an anti-inflammatory agent. It helps in reducing problems associated with post-menopausal symptoms, such as hot flushes. As it is capable of bringing back balance between estrogen and progesterone, it is recommended for the management of PCOD. उसमें ये काबिलियत है कि एस्ट्रोजन और प्रोजेस्टेरोन का बैलेंस नॉर्मल कर सकता है. We can think of it PCOD. In PCOD there may be heavy bleeding, so there is a rubric, heavy bleeding due to fibroids or cyst. You can think of that. Now we will see. I also consider Ayurvedic, but when we prepare or the tincture is prepared, the potency is made, then it is changed. So actions are different from the Ayurvedic. So I have collected only that things which are resemblance to our homeopathic Materia Medica. Genosia Ashoka, it is prepared from the bark of an Indian tree, Saraka indica. Extensive sphere of action in female organs, amenorrhea and metrorrhagia, delayed and irregular menses, menstrual colic, amenorrhea, pain in ovaries before flow, menorrhagia, irritable bladder and leukorrhea. Means whenever there is female complaints, think of Genosia Ashoka. In the back there is pain along the spine, radiating to abdomen and thighs. Means maybe in the sciatica you can think of. Thirsty. Dr. Sarkar has told, if you have these three, then you can just prescribe this medicine, Genosia Ashoka. What are they? Excessive nausea, obstinate constipation and hemorrhoids. If these three are present, just prescribe Genosia Ashoka. Then there may be unilateral headache due to uterine reflux, congestive headache ameliorated with the open air and free flow. Open air, think of pulsatilla, free flow, think of lachesis. Pain in eyeballs, supraorbital pain with photophobia, loss of sense and smell. Rubrics, we can think there are only mind rubrics, very few but very peculiar, like dreams of journey, hysteria at puberty. Only 4 medicine and 1 is Genosia Ashoka. Very sentimental. Pain general menses during ameliorates. Head pain general utero-ovarian. Can anyone tell me what is utero-ovarian headache? Head pain utero-ovarian. It is mainly in PCOD, because in PCOD there is the hormonal imbalance, and when there is the hormonal surges, it causes headache. So headache due to uterine or ovarian complaint, think of Genosia Ashoka, and you can take this rubric. It says around 14 medicines you can differentiate from it. Head pain, neuralgic, temples extending to the jaws, from temples extending to jaws. Smell, wanting, lost of, rectum, hemorrhoids, itching. Back pain, zigzag. ऐसे ऐसे जा रहा है back pain पूरा. Patient describes. My back here. बैक पेन zigzag lumbar region extending upwards. अगर zigzag ऊपर जा रहा है तो एक ही मेडिसिन है, सिर्फ zigzag है तो 4 मेडिसिन है. Food and drinks sour acids desire means sour desire, and food and drinks sweet desire. Very extensive action on female sexual. What is the action? There is leucorrhea general, menses absence, amenorrhea. There may be all the menses irregularities like menses frequent, early or soon, menses irregular, menses too late, menses general protracted. Protracted means flowing for so many days, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. This is protracted. Profuse means the bleeding quantity is more. At one time so much, so 3 to 4 pads I have to use at one time. Protracted means daily comes, the days are longer, duration is longer. Next is metrorrhagia. So protraction is there, so there may be metrorrhagia. What is metrorrhagia? It is intercurrent bleeding. Bleeding between the periods means month के बीच में भी उसको bleeding होता है. That is metrorrhagia. So metrorrhagia may be due to fibroids or cyst from only 29 medicines. You can think of in many cases we are like this. Pain general ovaries, menses aggravation before, and pain labor like menses before. बच्चा पैदा होने वाला है ऐसा दर्द होता है पीरियड्स के पहले. Swelling general uterus, and swelling general uterus edematous, hypertrophied uterus. You can think of. Pain headache location semilateral hemicrania means migraine. You can think boric materia medica. Boric headache type, congestive headache type, utero-ovarian. Remember this word, utero-ovarian headache. And headache menses during amelioration, headache open air amelioration, stomach appetite cravings, acids, pickles, sour things, and sweets, candy cravings. And headache, uterine complaints, aggravation, utero-ovarian, Murphy repertory. All repertory this medicine is given. Now we will move some again. Some exercise. Can you appreciate this remedy? Anger, taciturn with discouraged with anxiety, restlessness, nervousness with whooping cough, seek desire to meditate, weeping, fearful mood, cough or whooping cough during, eyes inflammation with cough, eyes pain, burning, smarting, coryzain, nose itching, tickling root, nose obstruction, stopped sensation, cough during, smell loss of wanting, taste loss of wanting means smell and taste loss. Corona. Face bluish cough during whooping cough. Taste tastelessness of food, coryza during. Stomach thirst, extreme coryza. Rectum constipation, stool must be removed mechanically, like silation. Larynx and trachea, mucus in air passages, trachea or tenacious mucus. Respiration difficult, open air amelioration, doors and windows bonds open. Positive. Expectoration must swallow what has to be loosened. Fever, slow, heat. What can be the remedy? Just think, what are the sphere of action? Respiratory. All have whooping cough, then whooping cough, coryza, nose itching, nose obstruction, smell lost, taste lost. All coryza, whooping cough. All have the respiratory affection. So we want a medicine which has highly affinity on the respiratory medicine. Then that is none other than Justitia Adhatoda. Similar to pulsatilla in many of the symptoms, but not that. Right? So we will learn today about Justitia Adhatoda. This is the active principle of Justitia Adhatoda. Vasicine or vasiconome are also the most important extract. Vasicine, a major research suggests shows high respiratory stimulants capabilities along with its ability to increase platelet counts in the human body. Justitia Adhatoda has been used in Ayurveda for treating respiratory disorders. Justitia Adhatoda vasica, also known as vasica, is very effective in treatment of excessive cough, that is whooping cough, diphtheria. You can think of this medicine. It just does not reduce cough but also relieves congestion in the chest cavity by reducing the mucus, which generally leads to excessive coughing. We all know coughing is our normal response, but why there is coughing? There is the mucus stick inside the alveoli. So to throw out this, there is the defense of coughing. So what this medicine do? This medicine relieves the congestion in the chest. Means mucus is relieved, so the cough will automatically relieve. The cause is removed, so effect will be less. Along with cough and mucus, it also relieves the headache associated with cough and coryza. We all know that in cough and coryza, some patients may complain of concomitant as headache. You can think of this medicine also. Vasa is extremely effective for patients suffering from excessive sneezing and who have difficulty in breathing. Vasica has shown imperceivable results in critical stages of bronchitis. When the sputum becomes thick and sticky, Vasa liquefies and inclines sputum to bring it up and out of the body more easily. For asthma patients, professionals have suggested inhaling the smoke of dried leaves of Malabar nut tree, that is Justicia Adhatoda, to get faster relief. For asthma patients, you can advise this. Preparations from the flower of Justicia Adhatoda have proven to be good in the treatment of tuberculosis. A preserve prepared from the fresh petals of the Vasa flowers, mixing it with some sugar and keeping it under direct sunlight for about a month in a clay pot, stirring it twice a day, gives quite a relief in the irritable cough by creating a pacifying effect on the nerves and by softening the sputum, making salivation and breathing easier. क्या करने का इसमें प्रिजर्व करना है कैसे फ्रेश प्लांट्स लेने का उसमें सम शुगर यू हैव टू ऐड और इन द क्ले pot you have to place under the sunlight and stir it twice a day. Okay, then you have to ingest that drink and that will affect like this. What you will do, pacify the effect of the nerve and softening the sputum. Sputum soft होगा तो easily बाहर निकल जाएगा, तो cough में और सब में relief मिलेगा. ठीक है, breathing easy होगा. Justicia Adhatoda for COVID-19. Today the COVID-19 pandemic caused the virus SARS-CoV-2 directly attacks the lungs and the respiratory system of the human body. A study was recently conducted by the Ministry of Ayush Government of India, which focused on the effectiveness of vaccine, that is the active principle of Justicia Adhatoda, the primary active alkaloid of Malabar nut plant against the infectious symptoms of coronavirus. What were the results? In the results, it is observed that Justicia Adhatoda has a good potential to be one of the medicine that can be helpful in reducing the symptom of mild COVID cases who are under self-quarantine. You can think of Justicia Adhatoda. So, now, Justicia Adhatoda. The Ayurvedic physician of India prize it very much. They are so very sure of its efficacy that they call it Vaidya Mata, means the mother of physician. They know their properties very well. Why? They confidently proclaim that no death can occur from cough of any kind if Vasica can play its role and find time to display its healing virtues. They are confident that अगर ये प्लांट है तो कफ से कोई नहीं मरेगा जब तक ये प्लांट है तब तक, because it is efficacy to respiratory organs is vast. In India, Justicia has been used for centuries as a medicine for both acute and chronic catarrhal respiratory disorders. Whenever the word catarrhal means, you can translate it into secretive. Means mucus is there. Secretions is catarrhal in homeopathy. According to the Ayurveda, nobody with these complaints need despair as long as this tree exists. ये ट्री है तब तक कफ में से किसी को निराश होने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक हो ही जाएगा. Region, what is the sphere of action? Mucous membranes. Mainly mucous membranes of nose, throats and lungs. Recent research has shown that it contains various alkaloids, including vasaicin, also known as peganine, which stimulates contraction of uterine muscles, thus for the induction or the accelerating the labor. You can think of this medicine. Whenever the tonicity is lost, contraction is not there, you can think of this medicine. What is produced in the respiratory affection? The cough of Justicia is sometimes dry, spasmodic and constricted. There is a violent degree of dyspnea associated with the cough. Dyspnea with cough, think of Justicia. So much so that there is a great fear of threatening suffocation. In whooping cough, the child loses the breath, turns pale, stiff and blue, and there is rigidity of the body. Which medicine? The child loses his breath, turns pale, turns blue. Which medicine? Sambucus nigra. In Sambucus, the child having the suffocative cough mostly at night. child wake up due to cough, child turns pale blue due to cough. Similar to this justice Adhatoda, Sambucus niger. There is usually vomiting with the cough and no food or drink is retained by the stomach. In the first stages of tuberculosis like Acalafia indica, it will surely be found to be a valuable remedy in these complaints. If it is first stage of tuberculosis, just confirm this is present or not. There is usually spitting of blood. Mucous membranes are dry, especially of mouth and throat. ट्यूबरक्यूलोसिस का प्राइमरी स्टेज है, गला सूख रहा है, मुंह में अंदर सूखनपन लग रहा है, तो यू कैन थिंक ऑफ दिस मेडिसिन. माउथ, थ्रोट एंड टंग आर ड्राई and there is thirst present, dryness with thirst. A highly praised remedy for acute catarrhal means secretive conditions of respiratory tract, used in the beginning means primary stage. It is cooling destroyer of hoarseness and a sure and strong arrestor of blood. It is highly efficacious in cold, coryza or the respiratory affection. Cold, coryza, cough, bronchitis, pneumonia, tuberculosis, spitting of blood, fever, jaundice, vomiting, thirst, loss of appetite and constipation. Allergies in hay fever. Fits of sneezing with lacrimation and loss of smell and taste. Coryza fluent, acrid, with violent sneezing, coughing or asthmatic attacks. Cough with tightness of chest as if it would burst, with bronchial rattle like entim-tart. Bronchial rattle is present but the severity is high. There is tightness of chest, sensation as if tightness of chest. Obstruction of breath and sneezing. Stiffening out, trembling and convulsion with cough and fever. What is the peculiarity of the medicine? Irritable, sensitive to external impressions, he grew anxious and discouraged. He felt a decided aversion to conversation and with inclined to be angry, like over time. The patient was extremely irritable, everything upsets him, depression of spirits, he was oversensitive to all the external stimuli. Cough and coryza, fits of sneezing and lacrimation, and loss of smell and taste. Seems to come between Allium cepa and Euphrasia. When you are confused between Allium cepa or Euphrasia, you can think of Justitia Adhatoda. It is in between these two medicines. Generally, it is aggravation in the warm room, and generally it is excessive thirst for cold water. Why? Maybe due to the dryness of thirst, and physically dryness of mouth, and physically there may be the habitual constipation, like calcarea, cough, silicea, bryonia. Catarrh descends to bronchi. Catarrh means secretions. Secretion descends to the bronchi, leading to paroxysms of suffocating cough and sensation of fullness and constriction in the chest. Sensation as if chest will burst. Why? There is so much, so secretion is there. So patient is having difficulty in breathing, so there is, it will burst. And rattling in the chest, especially behind the sternum. But no expectoration or only small quantities. Thick, tough, yellowish mucus like pulsatility. And sneezing, stitches in the chest with red face and vomiting of the mucus. There is usually vomiting with the cough and no food or drink is retained by the stomach. In some cases, I have hesitated between Euphrasia and Allium cepa. I have not decided it is Euphrasia or Allium cepa. Then I gave Justitia with success. It is why? So it is not the Euphrasia eye condition markedly, nor the very acrid nose symptom of Allium cepa. As we all know, there is acrid eye discharge, it is Euphrasia, and acrid nose discharge, then it is Allium cepa. But there is no markedly like eye symptoms or nose symptoms, then you can think of Justitia Adhatoda. But may be considered to involve both conditions to some degree, with the added difficulty in breathing. नोज में डिस्चार्ज, आँख में डिस्चार्ज और साथ में डिफिकल्टी इन ब्रीदिंग है तो Justitia Adhatoda. Cough causes the difficult breathing is a marked feature and may be considered as a keynote of this remedy fought by England. Rubrics: sensitive to external impressions to all. Whenever there is oversensitive, you can consider this as the you can think the repertorization point, because oversensitivity there should not be there. It should be the normal sensitivity. Sensitive to noise, sits and meditates, mind weeping, tearful mood, cough during. eye lacrimation, sneezing with, eye pain, burning, biting, lacrimation with, nose coryza general extending to chest, nose discharge constant, nose obstruction general alternating with discharge, nose sneezing constant, nose sneezing coughing after, खांसी खाने के बाद छींक आते हैं, ठीक है बात, सब में नहीं होता, किसी किसी में होता है. Smell diminish, taste diminish, smell wanting with केटार, केटार है बहुत ज़्यादा म्यूकस है इसीलिए उसको मुंह में आ रहा है सब, तो जो खाता है ना उसका स्वाद नहीं आता, सुगंध नहीं आती, वो सब होता है. Smell wanting with loss of taste, face discoloration, red cough during, taste wanting, loss of taste and smell, natrum mure is also present in this. Taste wanting, tastelessness of food in coryza, खाना खाते हैं ना तो कुछ पता ही नहीं चलता क्या खा रहे हो, क्यों, सर्दी है ना इसलिए. थ्रोट हॉक डिस्पोजिशन टू ऐसा करता है. थ्रोट व्हीजिंग इन, एब्डोमेन पेन ग्नोइंग इन द लिवर रीजन, स्पीच एंड वॉइस हॉर्सनेस इन द डे टाइम, respiration asthmatic with concomitants, respiration asthmatic after coryza, respiration asthmatic which is aggravated in the warm room, respiration difficult, wants doors and windows open like pulsatility, cough is rattling, anything tart, you can think of. Cough sneezing with, cough sneezing and sin means cough and sin sneezing, खांसी खाता है बाद में छींक आती है. Very few remedies. Extremities swelling general hand morning, extremities swelling general head foot morning, सुबह उठते हैं तो हाथ पैर सूज जाते हैं. We have to rule out the pathology behind it. These are the possible rubrics. General dropsy external in the morning, general trembling, general coughing from, खांसी खाते खाते थूकता है, कांपता है. Compliant synthesis, general stiffening of the body means आलस मनोवरणा जिसे बोलते हैं ना उसको stiffening बोलते हैं. Twist and turn of the body is known as stiffening. Warning also, nose coryza descending into the air passages. Complete dynamics. Stomach thirst with extreme in coryza. जब से सर्दी है तब से पानी की प्यास बहुत ज़्यादा लग रही है. In theory of acutes we have to consider the thirst, so it is valuable in it. Cough, vomiting in pneumonia, stomach vomiting, gelatinous. Rectum constipation, coryza during. coryza के साथ constipation, concomitant, अलग है दोनों, साथ में नहीं होना चाहिए लेकिन है तो QRS. Expectoration, dry, crumbly, expectoration absent coryza during, and sleeplessness from cough in children. Let's do some more exercise. So let's do some more exercise. Can you appreciate these remedies? Mouth dryness with thirst, urging to urinate, morbid desire, hearing, running water and putting hands in water. Urine profuse with increased thirst. Chest eruption itching. Chest eruption miliary. Extremities eruption papules. Eruptions rash, red upper limbs. Miliary upper part of the body eruptions. Eruptions sudamina. Gangrene from burns and gangrenous sores. Ulcers gangrenous. Ulcers hold. Emaciation in diabetes. Generalities water. Seeing or hearing running water aggravates. Weakness diabetes in juvenile means children, juvenile diabetes, and diabetes children with prickly heat. What is the medicine? What type of medicine we want here? Okay. Next. We want a medicine which has action on the skin, which has action on the GUT, that is genitourinary tract. Then we want a medicine which has the action on the pancreas, producing diabetes. And this is all the symptoms. And we have also the skin, there is ulcers, destructive pathology. This is Syzygium jumbolicum. Syzygium jumbolicum, जामुन, जामुन में से बनता है. In Hindu mythology, the jamun tree is the life force of our world. The Jambu Dweep, according to Hinduism, an alphabetical guide, is one of the 7 islands that form the world. 7 खंड है जो दुनिया बनाते, उसमें से एक का नाम जम्बू द्वीप था पहले. So say in the Purans, it has 9 divisions, of which भारतवर्ष is said to be the best. जम्बू द्वीप का 9 पार्ट बने, उसमें से जो बेस्ट था वो भारतवर्ष था, जो हमारा देश है. ठीक है. जम्बू द्वीप is named after the jamun tree. In some accounts, the huge jamun tree is said to overshadow the whole continent. बहुत बड़ा जामुन ट्री पूरे कॉन्टिनेंट को कवर करता था, इसीलिए उसको जम्बू द्वीप बोलते थे. ये कहीं पे सुना है? It is said that the jambu tree is released nourishing fruit that was rich with life-giving juices. ये रामायण में बताया था, जो लव कुश ने कहानी बताई थी ना, उसमें इसका उल्लेख किया था. जम्बू द्वीप भारतवर्ष, जम्बू में भारतवर्ष, उसमें आर्यावर्त, उसमें भारतखंड, उसमें अयोध्या है. It is said that when Lord Rama was exiled from Ayodhya, he lived on the jamun fruit. जब उनको वनवास मिला था, वो जामुन फ्रूट खा के जीते थे, ऐसा बताते हैं. And that Lord Krishna's beautiful skin is likened to the color of the jamun, which is why most Krishna temples spot a jamun tree or two in their compounds. उसके compound में हमें जामुन ट्री मिलते हैं. The jamun's most enduring association is with Lord Shiva. He is known as Jambunath or Jambukeshwara, and the Jambukeshwara temple built 1800 years ago still stands in Tiruchirappalli. The tree of even sacred to Buddhists who believe that it is under the jamun tree that the Lord Buddha first started meditating. Buddhism also there is sacred means पवित्र मानते हैं इसको. क्यों? उसके नीचे बैठ के उन्होंने पहले शुरुआत किया मेडिटेशन का. Now we will go to the Syzygium jambolecum. Syzygium jambolecum is a native of India. It has an edible fruit, a powdered stones of which have a popular use in the India as a remedy for diabetes. Syzygium has an immediate effect of increasing the blood sugar, and so the glycosuria result. But as we all know that the likes cure likes. So if it increasing, so you have, when the patient is increasing, you have to get this, he will come down. Syzygium is most useful remedy in diabetes mellitus. Dudgeon used Syzygium in the lower homeopathic potencies with marked success, which has been repeated by many others. Hanson mentions as having been cured with Syzygium old ulcers of skin, probably of diabetic foundation. Ulcers of diabetic foundation, first medicine to think of is Syzygium jambolecum. What is the PQRS? No other remedy causes so marked degree of diminution and disappearance of sugar in the urine. So much affinity to reduce the sugar level in the blood. Great thirst, weakness and emaciation, common symptom of diabetes. Very large amount of urine, and you will see the urine report. There may be the specific gravity is high. Prickly heat in the upper part of the body. Small red papules itch violently. Why this happens?
Diabetic rash.
It's diabetic
Yes,
rash.
diabetic rash.
This is due to the diabetic. It is systematic affection, and in the skin it causes the diabetic rashes. Clark had one case of diabetes in which he prescribed Syzygium mother tincture mixed with 3 times the quantity of alcohol was given with 2 drops every 3 hours. The specific gravity of the urine steadily decreased, sugar disappeared, and all the symptoms passed off. And this in spite of the fact that dietetic rules were relaxed. वो डाइट फॉलो करने को नहीं बोला था, फिर भी ये दिया ना, तो फिर भी कम हुआ. In the clinical, it is mainly diabetes and ulcers of diabetic origin. What can be the rubric? We can think of mouth pain general as if bitten, tongue is being bitten. In the bladder, there is cold sensation in the bladder. We all know that the urine sugar with ulceration. So much so sugar in the urine that it causes the ulceration of the urethra. Then we can think of the heat in the prickly heat in the upper part of the body. The common symptom: ulcers diabetic, ulcers indolent, and general diabetic mellitus, and general diabetic mellitus with prickly heat. Bladder urging to urinate, morbid desire when hearing or seeing the running water or putting hands, like lysine, hydrophobia. Skin eruption, miliary on the upper part. Skin gangrene from burns or gangrenous sores. After burns, if gangrene occurs, maybe the possible cause is diabetes, because the burns is not healing fast and it causes gangrene. Generalities, emaciations in diabetes mellitus, concomitant symptom. सबको इनिशिएशन नहीं होता डायबिटीज में, जिसको होता है उसको ही होता है. तो दिस इज PQRS. इनिशिएशन इज गोइंग टुवर्ड्स सिफिलिस. Clinical diabetes mellitus in children, that is called the juvenile diabetes. Think of CGTM. Skin vesicles eruption Sudamina. What is Sudamina? These are vesicular eruptions which occurs due to the suppression of the sweat glands. When your sweat is not come out and it is suppressed due to local application or anything, they have produced the vesicular eruption. This is Sudamina. Okay, let's move forward. We will see some more remedies. Okay, can you appreciate this remedy? Vertigo, coffee aggravation, head, heat, temples with coldness of the body. Only the temples are heat or hot and the rest of the body is cold. Face, lupus. Mouth, mercury with abuse of mercury. Stomach, vomiting, coffee aggravation. Stomach, vomiting, bilious vomiting. Skin eruption, herpetic succinate, this is ringworm. Skin eruption, papular syphilitic. Skin eruption, syphilitic. Food and drink stimulants, ameliorants. Means coffee ameliorants in this medicine. Generalities, obesity, generalitis syphilis after abuse of mercury, elephantiasis, leprosy or lepra and tuberculosis. What kind of medicine we want here in this case? What should be the affinity?
Syphilitic skin
Extremely
affection.
syphilitic medicine because it produces the syphilis. Every time eruptions are syphilitic, syphilis after mercury, leprosy is autoimmune. Mouth mercury after abuse of mercury, maybe the ulcerations. And the common concomitant is stimulants, ameliorants.
Like nuts coming up.
This is Calotropis diagentica. Similar to mercury in all extent, but it is not mercury. See, mercury is also causing many of the symptoms. But we can never think of Calotropis, we only give mercury. You forget this much. Calotropis diagentica. This is Akado in Gujarati. Call it as Akada. What is the mythological relations? Whom is the offered the flower of Calotropis? Hanuman. We all know. Why? He is mostly offered Calotropis gigantica flower is being offered to him. It might be because of he considered to be the Rudra avatar of Shiva. We all know that the Hanumanji is the Rudra avatar of Shiva. So there must be some connection between the Calotropis and Shiva also. Lord Shiva in the arc flowers. The flowers of the arc plant is also known as the Mandara Pushpa are very dear to Lord Shiva. In some ways, the flower also are similar to the spirit of Lord Shiva. How? They are simple and plain to see, like Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is also very simple and plain, but are very sacred. Like Lord Shiva is quick in temper, these flowers are also poisonous and if not handled carefully. But on the other hand, Lord Shiva is quick to please too. उनको अगर खुश करना है तो भी जल्दी हो जाते हैं. So the arc plant also has similarities. What is this? The arc flowers is appropriately used can be the immense medicinal value. Offer the flowers of Mandara on the Shiva ling and the Lord Shiva will bless you for your simple and heartful offering. The white arc plant is used in the worship of Lord Shiva, but in the mainstream the religious activities, it is also used in the Tantra Vidya also. Arc plant. Recent study shows the cancer fighting properties is Calotropis diagentica. DCM extracts were demonstrated to be strongly cytotoxic against non-small cell lung carcinoma, colon carcinoma and hepatocellular carcinoma. This extract shows promise as cancer medications and warrant further clinical research. If we can also use this medicine in this cancer cases because they are syphilitic medicines. Now we will go with Calotropis gigantica. What is the clinical indications? There is pain in the feet, pain in the hands, leprosy, tubercular, lupus, syphilis, acute dysentery, elephantitis. The expressed juice, root and bark have been extensively used in the East for their emetic, pseudophoric, alterative and purgative qualities. This is from Ayurveda. They use as a purgatives. The fresh juice is considered as a valuable remedy in the skin disorders. Calotropis has been used with marked success in the treatment of syphilis, followed by mercury, also in elephantitis, leprosy and acute dysentery. Pneumonic tuberculosis or tuberculosis increases the circulation of the skin and has powerful effects as a sudorific. In the secondary symptoms of syphilis, first you should know what is primary syphilis, secondary syphilis and tertiary syphilis. So when the syphilis is only in the, as we all know, syphilis is the STD, sexually transmitted disease. When it is only limited in the urinary organs or the genital or urinary organs, then it is primary syphilis. The secondary syphilis, it spreads to the body, and what it produces rashes on the body or the eruptions on the body, which may be syphilitic or the destructive, ulcerative type of eruption. This is secondary syphilis. And in tertiary syphilis, there is a failure of the organs. The systemic affection comes, and the organs started getting affected and getting failure. This is tertiary syphilis. Okay. In the secondary syphilis, so in secondary syphilis, that is the skin eruptions. So there may be the eruption on the body, where mercury has been used but cannot be pushed safely any further. As we all know, in the syphilis, Master Hahnemann has used mercury. Mercury is the king of antisyphilitic. He has used, but if they also use, but if we use, we cannot have the result from mercury, then we think of this. Heals the ulcers and blotches of the skin and perfects the cure. Primary anemia of syphilis, heat in stomach is a good guiding symptom. Obesity with flesh decreases, muscle become harder and firmer. Very good medicine for obesity. Frequent urination, pain, soreness and redness of the thigh. This is all the other symptoms of secondary syphilis and primary syphilis. Pain in both legs, swelling of knees, stiffness and inability to walk, pains in hands and feet, first left then right. Pains, worse movement or putting weight on. Okay, these are the symptoms. What can be the rubrics? We can think of mind weeping, tearful mood with pain in the feet. पैर में इतना दुख रहा है कि उसको रोना आ रहा है. You can think of only single medicine. Vertigo, coffee aggravation. Head, heat, temples with coldness of the body. In arnica we have seen there is the upper part is the heat and lower part is the cold. But only temples are hot and all parts are cold. Then we can think of this medicine. Head pain, headache, forenoon aggravation 11 am until midnight. 11 बजे से चालू होता है सुबह में, रात तक सर दर्द होता है. फेस, lupus, pain, jaws, articulation, motions on. मोशन करते हैं तब दर्द होता है. Mouth, in the tongue there is dark brown center. Stomach, vomiting, coffee aggravation, strong coffee aggravation. Stomach, vomiting, bilious after strong coffee. Single medicine. Last two. Blood anemia, production of red blood cells impaired in syphilis. Tertiary syphilis में जाएगा तो systemic affection होगा उसमें. You can it also affects on spleen, so the red blood cells get affected. Skin eruption, herpetic sarcina, ringworm, eruption papular syphilitic, eruption pustules syphilitic. Skin lupus hypertrophicus. Skin syphilis in secondary syphilis, means in secondary syphilis also you can use this. Skin syphilis after abuse of mercury. उसको प्राइमरी सिफिलिस हुआ है, उसको मर्क्यूरी दे के उसको बिगाड़ दिया और सेकेंडरी में चला गया, तब ये यूज करने का. क्लिनिकल एलिफेंटाइटिस एंड क्लिनिकल मर्क्यूरी लेप्रा ट्यूबरक्यूलोसिस. ओनली सिंगल मेडिसिन. Thromboric, there is sexual syphilitis, papular. Syphilitis means eruption on the genitalia. Syphilitic eruption on genitalia is syphilitis, papular. Syphilis after abuse of mercury. Syphilis, cachexia, anemia, emaciation. एनीमिया और इमेशिएशन आएगा तो सिफिलिस में जा रहा है, उसको रोकना पड़ेगा. Skin elephantiasis, skin leprosy, general obesity. In obesity, many of the stalwarts had used this as a mother tincture to reduce the weight. Respiration tuberculosis, phthisis pulmonalis. Complete you can see coldness, hands with heat of the head. सर गर्म है, हाथ पैर ठंडे है. Nail thick nails. This is physical. General you can look at and observe. Extremities pain, location upper limbs, wrist motion on aggravation. Wrist का motion करेगा तो aggravation होगा. Foot motion amelioration. पैर का motion करेगा ना तो amelioration होगा. पैर में जो दर्द है ना उसमें. Generalities weakness, innervation, exhaustion, prostration, infirmity, encephalitis. Infirmity मतलब भी weakness ही होता है. Means in syphilis if there is weakness and emaciation, think of Calotropis. Let's see some other medicine. What can be this medicine? Company desire of friends, dreams of churches, temples, dreams of death, of parents in family, dreams of God, dreams of white snake, indifference, apathy to parents, quiet disposition, mood with sadness, epistaxis, hemorrhage which is bright, hemorrhage easily from gums, stomach vomiting blood with cough, rectum dysentery, rectum hemorrhage with uterine hemorrhage, stool bloody profuse, female hemorrhage, uterus metrorrhagia in dysentery, expectoration difficult in old people, in general it is wounds bleeding freely, small wounds. This is the typical symptom of hemorrhagic tendency. थोड़ा लगता है ना तो बहुत ज़्यादा खून आता है. You can think of this rubric. It is a large rubric containing 33 medicine. What remedy we want here? Extremely hemorrhagic.
आपके और भगवान के सब में आ रहे तो क्रोटोलस
think of crotalus. The bleeder, dreams are present, snakes, what?
क्रोटोलस कास्कावेला.
The medicine is Ficus religiosa. Ashwatha. These East Indian drugs causes and cures hemorrhages of many kinds. We owe this remedy to Dr. Sarat Chandra Bose of Midnapur, who made the first proving and thereby discovered its power to cause and cure hemorrhage of any kinds. Whenever there is hemorrhage, think of Ficus. It can be used in all the types of hemorrhages like hematemesis, hematuria, menorrhagia, metrorrhagia, hemoptysis, dysentery mixed with blood, this is ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, bleeding piles, epistaxis, every hemorrhagic conditions. There are facts which can be verified by any doctor if he has mind to do so. Its power to arrest the progress of hemorrhage was so speedy that I was tempted to call it action magical. It is a magical action to provoke or stop the bleeding. We will see some cases of this case which is proved by the stalwarts. Various provings of this remedy. I means here the Sarat Chandra Bose was healthy as could be expected. I took 40 drops of the mother tincture of Ficus religiosa in one dose. So he is proved on himself. So what was the result? The result was I had a frequent desire to micturate. The urine contained blood in an abundant quantity. It has also an inclination to cough, which caused me to spit blood. A slight dull headache was present. Giddiness and nausea troubled me. The sight appeared to be dim. I was very weak and restless. I took tincture 3 drops every 2 hours, and after the 3rd dose, all symptoms vanished. So it is the proving of this medicine. Another case. My wife, Mrs. Bose, took the tincture in 20 drops doses repeatedly throughout 2 days. On the 3rd day, dysentery and menorrhagia set in simultaneously. Dysentery भी हो गया और menorrhagia भी हो गया. The blood was in bright red color. She had slight headache, very weak and restless. The sight was dim. Burning at the top of the head appeared. The face became yellowish. Difficulty in breathing existed. Become sad and melancholy with the profuse discharge of bright red blood. There were bearing down pains in the lower part of the abdomen. It is remarkable that the same treatment that is the minute doses of the same remedy, was effectual in arresting the effects of the drug. The proving case in और क्या क्या केसेस में क्या कहाँ कहाँ दिया वो अभी. Case 1. The eldest daughter of Babu Jamani J. Mukherjee, a police officer, was suffering from chronic dysentery from her very cradle. Means chronic dysentery since childhood. The stool contains blood. Not a single stool was without it. I gave her Ficus religiosa in 1 drop doses every 4 hours. The result was beyond my expectation. The stools become normal within 14 hours. The affinity of hemorrhagic to stop the hemorrhage is very fast. A friend of mine was suddenly attacked with the violent type of hematemesis, means bleeding, vomiting. The vomiting of the blood was generally preceded by the coldness of the extremities, heat and heaviness at the epigastrium, pallor of the face, oppression, fainting, ringing in the ears, vertigo, loss of appetite and prostration. And then he has given Ficus religiosa to the patient. The medicine acted like a magic to the nip of the malady in the bud and offered a cure as instantaneous and as radical. The patient regained his former vigor, means restored to the health. सब symptoms चले गए, fainting, ringing in the ears, vertigo, loss of appetite, prostration, means he has come back to the health. The patient was regained his former vigor and rosebud of the health within a short time. One is Babu Hiralal Ghosh was suffering from long-standing dysentery. He was very sad and melancholy. There was vertigo. The breathing was difficult. The stools were full of blood and mucus. I prescribed Ficus religiosa in drop doses every 4 hours. He was cured in a week of time, only in 7 days. The son of Babu Ispiti Rai Chaudhary fell accidentally upon a sharp cutting instrument and a wound was made upon his right thigh. The bleeding was very profuse. It was so profuse that no allopathic medicine could arrest the hemorrhage. Excessive bleeding. I prescribed Ficus religiosa to be applied externally and the hemorrhage disappeared within 10 minutes. You can see the affinity of this medicine to arrest the hemorrhages. What is the PQRS? The mental there is quiet and disinclined to move, sad and melancholic. Always there is concomitant of dim vision. In the hemorrhage of bright red in color, that is active hemorrhage. Hemorrhage from all the orifices like crotalus horridus, and there is the weak pulse. What can be the rubric? In mind, there may be the quiet disposition, head pain burning on the vertex, mouth hemorrhage, gums bleed easily. In the scurvy, you can think of this medicine. Stomach vomiting, bloody vomiting, rectum dysentery. There are many cases of ulcerative colitis which are stuck. We can think of this medicine in all the cases. Urine is bloody, female sexual menses is bright red, expectoration bloody, spitting of the blood. In the chest it produces hemorrhages, and generally it is hemorrhage tendency to actual hemorrhages. And the blood do not coagulate. It is hemophilia. Think of this hemophilia. Company desire for friends, delusion useless is. There are many syphilitic dreams also. There is dreams of God, dreams of white snakes, dreams of churches. Then the indifference to parents, our own parents. Dream of family, especially dreams of death of family members, mostly of parents. Quiet disposition with sadness and sadness with hemorrhage. Hemorrhage है उसके साथ sadness concomitant है, तो we can think of Ficus religiosa. Vertigo, vomiting before, head pain, headache, evening aggravation 6 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. Particular time modalities. Head pain, headache, hemorrhage from excess और vital losses. बहुत ज़्यादा hemorrhage हो गया, उसके बाद उसको head pain चालू हो गया weakness के साथ, so you can think of this medicine. Rectum diarrhea, hemorrhage with uterine hemorrhage, female hemorrhage, metrorrhagia and dysentery. Dysentery और metrorrhagia साथ में है, so you can think of this medicine. Generally it is lie down inclination to menses. Common but important. So you will see some last medicine today. Mind hopefulness, recovery of mind, sadness, diabetes in taste wanting, lost for bitter, टेस्ट वांटिंग लॉस्ट फॉर स्वीट, मतलब मीठा और कड़वा का स्वाद नहीं पता चलता है, टेस्ट पता नहीं चलता है। यूरिन शुगर क्वेश्चन एग्रावेशन, जनरलाइटिस इमेशिएशन इन डायबिटीज, जनरलाइटिस वीकनेस आफ्टर प्रोफ्यूज यूरिनेशन, यूरिनेशन के बाद वीकनेस आ जाता है। जनरलाइटिस वुंड्स पॉइजन, clinical diabetes insipidus and diabetes mellitus. What can be the medicine? What type of medicine we want?
Again diabetes.
Again diabetic. We want a medicine which has great affinity on diabetes, and it is Gymnema sylvestris. This is Gymnema sylvestris. The traditional use, it is used in weight loss in Japan. In Japan, 50 tons of Gymnema sylvestris leaves are consumed annually for the purpose of weight loss. Gymnemic acid, an active component isolated from the Gymnema sylvestris, has anti-obesity properties, decreases body weight, and also inhibits glucose absorption. Several compounds extracted from Gymnema prevent the accumulation of triglyceride in muscle and liver, and also decrease fatty acid accumulation in the circulation. Affinity, or we can say the action of gymnemic acid. The major biological active plant molecules are gymnemic acids, a class of triterpene saponins which have the effect of suppressing the taste of sweetness on the tongue from sucrose. उसका affinity इसलिए उसको नहीं आता है. Gymnemic acid compounds is Gymnema sylvestris can also attach to receptors of the intestinal walls, helping to reduce absorption of sugar molecules in the GUT, in the gut. These processes can lower blood sugar and promote insulin secretion and release. ग्लूकोज एब्जॉर्ब नहीं होगा तो ब्लड में ज़्यादा लेवल नहीं दिखाएगा, तो उसके वजह से शुगर कम आएगा. Early research suggests when a specific Gymnema extract is taken orally along with insulin or diabetic medications, blood sugar reduction in people with type 2 and type 2 diabetes is enhanced. उनकी जो medications चालू है OH है वो चालू रखने का, oral hypoglycemic agents वो सब चालू के साथ इसको ये देंगे तो blood sugar level और कम आएगा. In 2001, experiment was done on 65 persons having high glucose level. All were given extract of Gymnema. All were benefited with it and their sugar level come back in control. ऐसे ही नहीं बोल रहे, उन्होंने किया है experiment. So what is the role? This is homeopathic. गुरुमार बोलते हैं इसको हिंदी में. Is known as sugar killer. बोरिक ने word दिया है sugar killer. Diabetes mellitus, and it is the antidote for poisonous snake bite. It is almost specific for diabetes mellitus. Patient gain weight, appetite improves, removes sugar from urine, improves energy pattern, and most important, prolongs a diabetic patient's life. Gymnema sylvestris, a single symptom observed from chewing one or two leaves, which had a bitter, astringent or slightly acid taste. उसके पान चलवाते हैं ना तो क्या symptom आता है वो बताया है. Immediately after chewing them, the sense of taste of sugar was lost, and also the taste of bitter. Sugar और bitter खाएंगे तो taste नहीं आएगा. The effect lasting some hours. Everything else could be tasted. Means ginger beet खा रहे हैं तो उसको पता चल रहा है इसमें ginger है, लेकिन sweet और bitter खाएंगे ना तो पता नहीं चलेगा. Quinine tasted like chalk. This plant, which grows in the Deccan Peninsula, Assam, and some parts of Africa, is woody climber with long slender branches. The powdered root has a reputation among the natives as a remedy for snake bite. In the forest, it is used as an antidote of snake, poisonous snake. What is the homeopathic PQRS? Profuse urination, urine loaded with sugar. After passing large quantities of urination, there is extreme weakness. Similar medicine is phosphoric acid. In phosphoric acid, there is first is anxiety, followed by urination, and followed by burning. This is phosphoric acid. Because here, after urination, there is weakness. What is the character of urine? White in color with high specific gravity. Coition or coitus increases the flow of urine in the sugar sexual power almost lost, diabetic, carbuncle or boil, pain in specific of burning type. Though patient had all these symptoms, he is very hopeful for his recovery. This is mental state. इतनी सारी कंप्लेन है फिर भी वो hopeful है. So this is important. What can be the rubrics? Hopefulness of recovery, sadness in diabetes. Sadness है लेकिन hopeful तो है फिर भी. Taste inspired watery or flat. Bitter food taste. Bitter food का taste गया, inspired हो गया. Taste inspired watery flat of sugar. Sugar का taste गया, inspired. Taste wanting for bitter. Taste lost for sweets. And urine sugar poison aggravation. Single medicine. Emaciation in diabetes mellitus. Weakness after profuse urination. Wounds, especially of poisonous bites like snake. It can also be used in wounds of bites of dogs, of reptiles, of snakes. Common generalities, that is clinical in diabetic insipidus and diabetic mellitus. And skin eruptions, carbuncle, and stings of insects. Insect bite. Today's last remedy. What can be this remedy? Dreams of his own death, schizophrenia, pain, aching, motion during eyes open, heat flushes, evening until 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Teeth pulsation. In stool culture there is coli lesion, coli bacteria. Chest pain, sides, right extending to arm. Heart and circulation. Pain, sudden paroxysmal heart region extending to back and front. Heart and circulation, palpitation, heart standing amelioration. Heart and circulation, pulse, heartbeat, heart exercise after sudden. In clinical hypertension with red face. What type of medicine we want here? It is a heart affection on the blood vessels producing hypertension. What will be the hypertension? The blood pulse is hard after sudden exercise. This medicine is Rauwolfia serpentine. Rauwolfia serpentine. Long before modern medicine discovered the herb, it has been used in India for centuries as an antidote to bites of some snakes or insects, and as a tranquilizer, means for the sedatives or calmness. Whenever there is hypertension, the patient is get exaggerated. So if he give this, patient become calmness, pressure goes down. The plant contains more than 20 alkaloids, the most active of which are reserpine, deserpine or yohimbine. They are mostly indole disease, affecting deep-seated brain centers to produce sedation and relaxation by causing the release of serotonin from the tissue as a result of its structural similarity to serotonin. Some of them, especially reserpine or resinamide, also act on the hypothalamus to reduce the blood pressure. Reserpine is also used in psychiatry. In small amount, it is used in anxiety and stress. In larger doses, in locomotor restlessness in psychiatric patients. So in schizophrenia.
Haloperidol કરીને એક ટેબ્લેટ આવે છે, that was the reserpine.
Sphere of action, just two, and most important, central nervous system, heart and circulation. The medicine has some effect on the different organs also. We will learn first. In head, it is congestive headache with arterial palpitation in the temples and forehead. Frontal headache spreading towards the occiput, ameliorated in fresh air, accompanied by hot flushes and dizziness. In heart, there is palpitation, prickling and irregular heartbeat, palpitation and irregularity of the heart when lying down, ameliorated by standing and by walking. बैठा है ना तब उसमें पाल्पिटेशन होगा, हार्ट बीट इरेगुलर होगा, वो सब होगा. जैसे ही खड़ा होगा और चलेगा ना तो सब नॉर्मल हो जाएगा. हाइपोटोनिया विथ डायरिया, कॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन, एंजाइना पेक्टोरिस एंड रिदमिक एनेमारिस, मीन्स जो हार्ट की रिदम है, कार्डियक साइकिल में प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है, तो वी कैन थिंक ऑफ दिस. ब्रेडिकार्डिया, एओर्टाइटिस, एओर्टिक एन्यूरिज्म, कार्डियोरेनल एडिमा, edema due to the causes of cardiac or renal origin. In hypertension, without marked atheromatous changes in the vessels, एंथेरोमेटस चेंजेस नहीं है फिर भी हाइपरटेंशन हो रहा है, यू कैन थिंक ऑफ दिस. व्हाट आर द रूटीन्स? मेन मेडिसिन फॉर हाइपरटेंशन, हाइपरटेंशन अल्टरनेटिव विद हाइपोटेंशन, कभी कम हो जाता है कभी ज़्यादा हो जाता है. तो ओनली 25 मेडिसिन. ब्लड हाइपरटेंशन, लो ब्लड प्रेशर, हाइपोटेंशन. हाइपरटेंशन और हाइपोटेंशन दोनों साथ में. डिजीज इज आर्टेरियोस्क्लेरोसिस. Arteriosclerosis is the cause of the hypertension due to which the blood pressure increases. Disease is catatonia, means schizophrenia. Disease is epilepsy, Parkinson's disease. Female sexual behavior diminishes, means sexual desire diminishes. In heart edema, dropsy from heart disease. Kidneys edema, dropsy from kidney disease. Means any dropsy from the heart or kidney disease, think of this medicine. Patient may have both heart and kidney, and the only single medicine. Mental schizophrenia, catatonic, only 8 medicine, one of them is this. Mental schizophrenia, paranoid, schizophrenia with hypertension, खत्म, ये दे देंगे, हो जाएगा. Head congestion, hyperemia general, it is mainly due to the hypertension. Ear discoloration, redness, nose congestion of blood, face heat general, flushes general, evening 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. Throat pain, burning on swallowing saliva, जलन होती है सिर्फ सलाइवा स्लेवा करते हैं तभी होती है और कभी नहीं होती, तो ये सिंगल मेडिसिन. थ्रोट एक्सटर्नल, पल्सेशन ऑफ कैरोटिड्स, कैरोटिड पल्सेशन चाहिए लाइक बेलाडोना, थ्रोबिक कैरोटिड्स. स्टूल कल्चर, कोला एंड स्टूल कल्चर, गार्टनर, वेरी लेस मेडिसिन, वन ऑफ देम इज सीजीटी. मेल सेक्सुअल डिजायर डिमिनिश्ड, female sexual desire diminished. Hypertension with sexual desire diminished, you can think of this medicine. Respiration difficult after short running, slow, थोड़ा ही एक्सरसाइज करेगा तो भी ब्लड प्रेशर आ जाएगा, रेस्पिरेशन डिस्निया आ जाएगा. चेस्ट कॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन, टेंशन, टाइटनेस आफ्टर रनिंग अ शॉर्ट डिस्टेंस, थोड़ा ही भागेगा फिर भी चेस्ट टाइटनेस, मेनली ड्यू टू द कार्डियक इनसफिशिएंसी. हार्ट को बराबर पंप नहीं कर रहा है तो ब्रेन को नहीं मिलेगा तो थक जाएगा. चेस्ट एन्यूरिज्म ऑफ द aorta. Hypertension with red face, PQRS of this medicine. Extremities cracked skin and feet, extremities cracked feet heal. Skin discoloration with red perspiration, skin discoloration red with perspiration. Generalities, arteriosclerosis, dropsy in heart disease, dropsy from kidney disease. Exertion, violent physical amelioration, थोड़ा भागेगा उठेगा, ज़्यादा भागेगा ना तो कुछ नहीं होगा, तो amelioration होगा. Food and drink, sugar aversion, and pulse after hard pulse after climbing. Pain, headache, pressure, amelioration. How the amelioration is there? With the hands against pillow, ऐसे करेगा ना, चलिए. हेड पल्सेशन फ्रॉम फास्टिंग, हंगर से हेड में पल्सेशन आएगा. नोज स्नीजिंग आफ्टर गेटिंग वेट, किडनीज पेन, कॉलिक राइट, मेल एमिशन पॉल्यूशन समाइनर ड्यूरिंग शॉर्ट पोजिशन आफ्टर प्रीमेच्योर इजैक्यूलेशन. फीमेल यूकोरिया अल्टरनेटिंग विथ ब्लडी डिस्चार्ज, रेस्पिरेशन अस्थमेटिक, बेंडिंग हेड फॉरवर्ड, रॉकिंग एमिलियोरेशन, एंड रेस्पिरेशन रॉकिंग एमिलियोरेशन. दिस इज PQRS. सब में नहीं मिलता रॉकिंग एमिलियोरेशन. What can be the medicine?
Sina, the rocking amelioration.
Sina, rocking amelioration. This is Ocimum sanctum, tulsi. Ocimum sanctum. Tulsi, which is in Sanskrit, means unique, Advitiya, is worshipped throughout India. She means here Tulsi is mostly known as the wife of Vishnu. There are two types of Tulsi worshipped in Hinduism, Ram Tulsi and Krishna Tulsi. Ram Tulsi, which has the light green leaves which are large in size, and Krishna Tulsi, which is dark colored leaves, and these leaves are important for the worship of Vishnu. Many Hindus plant Tulsi outside their homes, mainly in Tulsi Kyari. Tulsi is found and grown in the Vishnu temples, especially in Varanasi. Varanasi में बहुत मिलता है. In a festival called Tulsi Viva, on the day of Sud Ekadashi in the month of Kartak of the Hindu calendar, the Tulsi plant is ritually married to Vishnu. On this day, the Chaturmas, which is considered inauspicious for the auspicious work of marriage, also comes to an end. तुलसी विवाह के बाद शादी का मुहूर्त नहीं आता है, ऐसा शुरू होता है
इसके पहले नहीं होता।
With this marriage, the wedding season begins in India. Along with the practice of lighting lamps in the month of Kartak, Tulsi is also worshipped and is considered auspicious. Vaishnavas worship Tulsi every day, especially in the month of Kartak. Vaishnavas keep beard garland made up of Tulsi wood, Tulsi माला जो बोलते हैं ना वो पहनते हैं, for chanting and मतलब जो माला गिनते हैं ना beads गिनते हैं, and the Tulsi garland made up of similar fine beads is also worn around the neck. The wearer of this garland is considered to be the protected by Krishna and Vishnu. Such is the relationship between Tulsi and the Vaishnavas. And Vaishnavas are known as they are who wear Tulsi garlands around their necks. Due to the strong aroma and pungent taste, it is considered to be the Ramban, life medicine in Ayurveda. It is said to give a lifelong span. उम्र बढ़ाती है. Tulsi extract is used in Ayurveda in common cold, headache, stomach problems, swelling, heart attack, means pain in the muscular pain in the heart region, poisoning disorders and malaria. Main medicine for malaria. Traditionally, Tulsi is consumed in a variety of ways as a dry powder mixed with fresh leaves or ghee. The aromatic oil extracted from Kapoor Tulsi is used as herb in cosmetics and in skin medicines due to its antibacterial properties. यूज करते हैं लेकिन क्यों करते हैं, प्रॉपर्टीज होंगे तो ही करें. एंटीबैक्टीरियल प्रॉपर्टीज. व्हाट आर द इंडिकेशन? हेडेक, ऑप्थेल्मिया नियोनेट्रम, इन्फ्लुएंजा, अस्थमा एंड फीवर, टिपिकली इन malaria fever. Delirium fever during typhoid, head pain, general chill after. Whenever there is a case of fever, you have to divide it into the 3 stages: chill stage, heat stage and sweat stage. And you have to ask the patient what happens in chill stage, what happens before and after chill stage. You will get concomitants during that stage. Head pain, piercing, penetrating. How is the piercing? From the nail. खिला ठोक रहा है, कील ठोक रहा है, उतना दर्द होगा. प्रेशर देगा तो एमिग्रेशन होगा. फेस, लिप्स लुक्स लाइक बर्न्ट, उसके होठ जले हुए हैं ऐसा लगता है. दिस इज ऑल आर ऑब्जर्वेटरी सिम्टम्स. माउथ डिस्कलरेशन, टंग ब्राउन एट द सेंटर, एंड टीथ पेन which is ameliorated by pressing the gums together. Rectum constipation painful, diarrhea with high grade fever in children, only medicine Ocimum SANCTUM. Kidneys pain, general colic. In acute renal colic also you can think of this medicine. Sir has used this medicine in very frequently in acute colic of the renal stone, which has gave beneficial results. Urine color which is yellow, saffron like yellow color. Female sexual inflammation, uterus, delivery, parturition after. After delivery the uterine tonic is lost. There is hypertrophy of the uterus. You can think of this medicine. Female leukorrhea general alternating with bloody discharge, and leukorrhea alternating with metrorrhagia. Lochia which is offensive and fetid. Lochia which is profuse. Respiration asthmatic, bending head forward, and rocking amelioration. This is PQRS of this medicine, rocking amelioration. Chill with headache. Fever, continued fever like typhoid. Fever tertian, fever quartan. What is fever tertian? Fever caused by P. vivax is known as fever tertian in homeopathy. Means malaria. If malaria, you can think of this rubric, fever tertian. It is given that fever due to P. vivax, Plasmodium vivax, is known as tertian fever. Quartan fever. What is quartan fever? Fever occurring after every 3 days. 3 days better, then again fever spike comes. This is quartan fever. Generally it is food and drinks, cold drinks, water desire during fever. This is PQRS. In fever, mostly the patient doesn't drink or does not like anything, but here water desire. There are some important drinks in this
medicine, that is anxiety, lying while ammunition, suicidal disposition by poison, dreams of accident, dreams of animals, dreams of being attacked, dreams of being beaten, dreams of dead infants, dreams of fight, dreams of pursued by some enemies, dreams of relatives or family. PQRS or different dreams than other. Confusion of mind about location. Lucis is well on streets. So much so confusion it does not know where the house is and goes anywhere else. Seeing desire to romantic songs, only single medicines. Ocimum sanctum. Delusion of accident, delusion injury will receive, delusion he or she is insulted, delusion at being laughed at, delusion will be murdered, delusion he or she is neglected. The physical PQRS always enter through physical. Mind restlessness, nervousness, asthmatic complaints in vertigo, pressure ameliorate, head pulsation, hunger, fasting from. उपवास करेगा, एकटाना करेगा, मतलब जो फास्टिंग करते हैं उसके बाद हेड में पल्सेशन जैसा पेन होगा ना तो एक ही मेडिसिन है. हेडेक, टेम्पल्स, ओपनिंग माउथ, एग्रावेशन. टेम्पल्स में पेन है, मुंह खोलेगा तो दर्द होगा, एग्रावेशन होगा. हेड पेन, हेडेक, प्रेशर एमिलोरेट्स. हाउ इज द प्रेशर? विथ हैंड्स, पिलो अगेंस्ट, जैसे पिलो रखेगा. नोज, कोराइजा, मॉर्निंग टिल नून, सुबह से लेकर दोपहर तक ही कोराइजा होता है, उसके बाद कुछ नहीं होता. नोज, कोराइजा, ईटिंग आफ्टर एमिलोरेट्स, खाना खा लेते तो अच्छा हो जाता है. नोज ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन, स्टॉप सेंसेशन विथ हेडेक. माउथ एप्थे, लिप्स, inner side, upper lips, apthe. Mouth, redness, glistening trunks like rustox, belladonna, glistening redness of the tongue. Throat pain, burning, smarting, cold drinks, amelioration. Appetite, ravenous, canine, excessive, soon after eating. खाना खाने के बाद और ज़्यादा भूख लग जाएगी. Rectum, involuntary stool, fever during, very PQRS, important. Kidneys, pain, colic, right. This is the rubric sir is taken and given Ocimum sanctum in acute renal colic. Bladder with bloody urine due to the calculi. Male emission pollution, seminal, short during position, premature ejaculation. Respiration, asthmatic, bending head forward and rocking amelioration. Rocking amelioration is Ocimum sanctum. Respiration difficult, lying, aggravation on back. Respiration rocking amelioration. Expectoration of cream color. Extremities, numbness, insensibility of hands, fever during and fat fever during. बुखार है ना तब से हाथ पैर में झंझनाटी हो रही है, कुछ पता नहीं चल रहा है. Numbness. Thank you friends for listening.
So it was a wonderful journey of Indian drugs which we have never heard about and never learned very deeply. So he had given a clinical utility, he had given a historical background of that remedies as well as the rubric which we have used in our clinical practice for the prescribing of these particular remedies. So I will share my gratitude for sharing this wonderful session with us. So thank you so much for sharing the ideas and insight about the Indian drugs with all of us. Wonderful sessions Dr. Raj has given to us. He had said that I had prescribed Ocimum sanctum in one of the case of the acute colic of renal colic. Whenever you find that the symptomatology is like a lycopodium, that right-sided colic, right-sided stone, and at the same time you find it was in a ureteric, upper ureteric or a lower ureteric, and the patient presented to you with either a vomiting and acute pain. My sir uses Ocimum in the cases. So from that learning, I also prescribed and I get a wonderful result that the patient can pass stone. I will share one of the acute case of coryza, what boric is mentioned, and I have used clinically the remedy called Avena sativa. So Avena sativa, in a boric it was mentioned that when there is an acute coryza, acute watery discharge from the nose, you can prescribe mother tincture Q 20 drops 10 minutes apart, and within a few doses the acute coryza subsides. And I have used this remedy in my clinical practice, and I found it is very wonderful, not in an allergic rhinitis, not in a chronic complaint, but specifically in acute coryza you can use Avena sativa. Okay. Many cases of diabetes, along with constitutional remedy, I used to prescribe Gymnema, I used to prescribe Cesium, and it can lower the blood sugar level. Okay. So this was just a few clinical indications. I have never used Acalifa, I have never used Justicia in my practice till date. I heard that in a last 2 years background of COVID cases, many of the masters of homeopathy, and they suggest that Justicia Adhatoda is the one of the wonderful remedy in using in COVID cases when they suffer from the acute respiratory difficulties or lower oxygenations and coughing and everything. So this is what the wonderful understanding, as well as he had given a historical background of each and every remedy. It is very easy to remember that remedy, how we can use in our clinical practice. So once again, a big round of applause for and hope you all enjoy this wonderful series of 21 Marathon Materia Medica. This was the 20th lectures of this series, and in the May 1st we are going to end this series, and it was the 21st lectures on I will share my clinical experience of sulfur in the next sessions. So hope you enjoy this wonderful series with all of us, and still more in the future we are planning for the wonderful sessions on the Materia Medica and the clinical applications and the approaches. So thank you all learners, and thank you all the online learners which they all are learning from our YouTube videos. And if you like our videos, so please share with your colleagues, friends, so they can be benefited from this, the wonderful knowledge that Hanuman has passed on to us through our sirs, and from myself to all of you and our team. So thank you so much for the wonderful journey of 21 America and all my team SHA members. Thank you so much. Thank you.